Terry Bradshaw right here on Fox every Sunday during the football season in September. But Terry will be coming to the Hard Rock Casino in Indiana June 28th. Terry, nice enough to join us here on Fox Chicago. Good morning, Terry. Good to see you during the off season.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Before you and I talk a little Bears football with the NFL draft this week, important times here in these parts of Chicago, I want you to tell me about the Terry Bradshaw show that's going to be coming to the Hard Rock Live venue.
You know, the show is, I sing about 9 songs in the show. I tell a few stories, not many. Most of the time, I'm just having fun with the audience and getting along with them. It's really an interaction with the audience, and it's so much fun. We've been doing this now for, we got started 3 years ago after the pandemic. We were shut down. We started in Vegas. And we were out there. We opened at the Mirage, then we went to the Luxor and had a residency there. And then the pandemic shut us down. And then we ended up in Branson at the Clay Cooper Theater to kind of get the show back going again. And we've been there for 5 years. And we go back and forth to Branson, to the Clay Cooper Theater. And then we slowly, Hard Rock has picked us up, and we're doing about 8 Hard Rocks this year, and we love it. I mean, doing the casinos is fun. The theaters that we're in are just gorgeous. We just left Canada. We're in Canada, then we went down to Connecticut, at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Then, like you said, we're in Indiana, Illinois, New York. I mean, but the show's a fun show. It's just a good time with me and the audience. And,
yeah, I know you got some great personal stories, of course. You're a personal favorite of mine. My dad, God bless his soul, passed away many years ago. You were his favorite player. The stories, I bet, are incredible, but has singing always been a passion of yours?
It has. I started when I was a little boy. I would stand in a chair and wash dishes on Sunday morning and take my RCA Victrola record player, and I'd put on the big LP of the Statesman Quartet, and I would sing to all the Statesman songs. So I grew up loving the Statesman Quartet, and I loved quartet music, gospel music. And so then I started singing in church. And then I got into football in high school, and then went on playing football, and there went the Birds. And then I slowly got back into music. And I would say the last 12 years, when I wrote the show, actually the Bradshaw show used to be called, when we first did it, the show was written by myself and a guy named John Max, and we wrote it for Broadway, believe it or not, and hired a guy to write us songs. And the show originally was My Life in Song, but I didn't like the show. It was too polished, too what's the word? Too mechanical, I guess. But it was, it was a 90-minute show, and I had more fun when I was freer with the show than, and that's what I am now. I just cut it all out. I tore the show up and rewrote it. Rewrote only the outline, got rid of all the stories. I kept one song from that, and that's about my grandparents. And then the rest, I just put songs in that I like. I put in. I got a Glenn Campbell song. I open up with Boot Scootin' Boogie. I do Red Clay Strays. I do, several. And just fun. Just had Hank Williams, it's just, it's kind of hard to describe other than it's just a family gathering, and it's fun, and it's a good, clean show. So,
And that's why people love you, because they've created this attachment with you over the last 30 years here on Fox through doing football. You seem like the type of guy that you have no problem letting people in. Is there a story, and it doesn't even have to be football, Terry, is there a story that's a favorite of yours that you love sharing with the audience?
Believe it or not, I tell it the Phil Robertson story where I was his backup quarterback at Tech, Louisiana Tech. How he got knocked out and got hurt, and I got to play. And it's one of those, those classic rags to riches. Well, here I come. And he went on to become Duck Dynasty reality TV star and make duck collars and got filthy rich. I apologize for the birds. There's nothing I can do about it. They're loud.
Right.
I'm not paying them any attention. And so that's what that is. Anyway, that's a favorite story of mine. You would probably think I would tell a lot of football stories, but I don't. Every show's different. Nothing. It's like I said, it's not scripted. It's what I feel at the moment. When I'm in Pittsburgh, I may tell a few more, but I get out in the crowd and they ask me questions. The fun part of the show is when the audience is able to ask me questions and I walk around, and that's where the football part comes in. They'll ask about the Immaculate Reception. What's Mean Joe Green like? And Franco Harris, on and on and on. And that's where the football part comes in. The rest of the show is just humor. And, I can't tell you because it changes every night.
Yeah, whatever.
Every night. It depends on how I feel.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling that day. I get it. Hey, in Chicago, we're excited about, obviously jacked about our Bears, even coming off of last season's 5-12 year. And the team made some moves. General manager, Ryan Poles got some guys to support the offensive line, which was an issue last year, and the defensive line. And they hired the top head coaching candidate in Ben Johnson. And I know you know a lot about Ben Johnson and what he's meant to the Detroit offense the last 3 years. But tell me, for the Bears, how quickly can a guy like Johnson turn the Bears offense into one of football's best?
Well, what he'll do, he'll be so creative. And I think Williams, your quarterback, is tremendously gifted young man. I was reading things about, everybody we're so critical about young quarterbacks. I'm not, but critics are, football so-called experts are, but they don't realize if you don't have an offensive line and give you time to throw, and if you don't have receivers to throw to, you're not going to be successful. Forget about the defense. I'm just talking offense. He has his skill set is amazing, but you've got to build your offensive line, which the Bears are trying to. They're smart people. Johnson's a smart guy. He knows. And then the other thing, you got to teach a quarterback where the weaknesses are versus the blitz, and where your pickups are, where you got to go with the football, and so on and so forth. That's why Johnson, to me, was the best hire there is. He is so smart. He's a great situational coordinator. His offensive scheme is just so much fun to watch. And you're really very, very fortunate to have him. I am really happy. We need Chicago. Fox needs Chicago to be a good football team, and they've not been that for a while now. So we need the Bears back. And I think this is going to listen. Now you got the Vikings, you got Green Bay, you got Detroit and Chicago. The NFC North now is going to be one of the most exciting divisions in all of football because you've got really good quarterbacks. Well, Minnesota switched their guy out, but for the most part, you got really good quarterbacks, and it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch them. And Chicago is going to be. They might be a surprise team to some people, but they won't be to me. I think with Johnson hiring and with Williams and what they're going to be doing, the draft's coming up, get more people, on offense especially. I think the Bears fans are
Yes.
in for an exciting year, really.
Speaking of the draft, Terry, Bears still need a left tackle, but as a quarterback, if a potential generational running back like an Ashton Genty is there when the Bears draft, coming off of what we saw Saquon Barkley do this past season in Philadelphia and the Eagles winning a Super Bowl,
Right.
should the Bears grab a guy like Genty at number 10 if he's there, or do you still draft another offensive lineman?
Lineman, forget about that running back. Get a lineman. Fix that line. Okay? You can get running back. Listen, I know this kid out of Boise State is a really talented and so forth, but you don't need to get him in the first round. You can just go by the Denver Broncos for all those years where they were drafting players in the third and fourth round at running back position. You can find a running back. But those tackles are hard to get. Those guards are hard to get. A great center is hard to get. You need a tight end. You got to have a great tight end, which you've got potential there. You've got to have wide receivers, selfless wide receivers, but that's hard to find because those wide receivers are, oh, boy, that's a strange breed. But you've got to build that offense. And I would not worry about that running back. They may take him, and I wouldn't hesitate to tell you I think it's a mistake. But if you look at Barkley, you want to talk about Barkley, his last year in New York, what good was that? That helped Daniel Jones any? No.
Right.
Barkley got to a good offensive line. All right? The biggest offensive line in football. And you saw the holes he was running through. And once he got in there, he was off and gone. So you got to create some creases for these running backs. They cannot do it on their own. That's why you build the line first. Get the line, get it sound, get it solid, and then go find you a running back. You can get that.
Do you remember how you felt days before the 1970 NFL draft?
I got to tell you, I was going fishing. I was backing out of my driveway in Shreveport, Louisiana, and with my boat, and I was backing up because the sand bass were schooled up on sandbars in Toledo Bend, and I knew where those sandbars were. And so I was all excited. So I was going to pick a friend of mine up, and we were going to go down to Toledo Bend and go fishing. And I got about halfway out of the driveway. My dad comes running out of the house. He says, "You can't go fishing." I said, "What do you mean I can't go fishing? I'm going to go down there." Then I'm telling him the story. And he goes, "Son, the Bears called this morning, and they're trying to trade up with Pittsburgh to take you number one." I went, "Get out of here, Dad. You buy that? I'm not going number one. I'm probably not going to go to the second or third round."
Unbelievable. And what many Bears fans don't remember, I sure do.
That's my story.
I love that story.
Look, I was so mad. I was so mad at my dad for making me come back in the house. And then we got a phone call. I don't even know who I talked to on the phone. And then the reporters started calling. Then they made me put on a suit for the people coming out to do the interview. And then I got on the phone with some writer in Pittsburgh, and he said I was belittling Terry Henry. I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking, well, I'll go up there, but I was young, naive. What am I going to do, go up there and be a failure? So not a great day for me, but I mean, it turned out when you look back on it at 76 years of age, and I look back when I was a 21-year-old kid and you go, wow, that was a pretty special day.
It sure was.
At the time, it wasn't. I was not happy.
Terry, I remember being 6 years old and heartbroken when the Bears lost the coin flip to the Steelers, giving Pittsburgh the number one pick in the draft and Terry Bradshaw. Terry, you would have owned Chicago if the Bears ended up getting you.
Well, I would have owned Chicago if, in fact, I'd have had Joe Green, L.C. Greenwood, Dwight White, Jack Lambert, Mike Webster, Franco Harris. You got to take all of that into consideration. I was just one piece of the puzzle, not the piece, not the whole picture. Takes all of that to be. God dang these birds! Hey, I'm gonna fry your ass. There, sorry about that.
Don't
nuts.
let it fly. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking, you brought up some great names. I know you went to Pittsburgh not long ago to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of your first ever
Last Friday. Yeah.
Last Friday. Tell me what that was like. Who was there?
It was so amazing. Of course, I see these guys probably once a year anyway. But Mel Blunt's youth home, his leadership, he was there to raise his money every year, and it keeps his home going for young people. And so I went back. Of course, Mel and I see each other 3 or 4 times a year. Joe Green, I see 3 or 4 times a year. Rocky Blyer at least once a year. John Stallworth at least once a year. Jerry Mullins every 2 or 3 years. He was our starting right guard. I saw Larry Brown, my right tight end, my right tackle. He tight end. He caught his last pass he caught from me was in Super Bowl IX, and the following year he was an offensive tackle. So when I saw him, I saw John Cobb, my left tackle. He weighs about 205 right now.
Wow.
And I asked John the other day, "Hey man, what was your playing weight?" He said 255.
Wow. Amazing.
255. So you get an idea how the game has changed. But I get to see these guys, and it's the only time that I go backwards, and just laugh and cut up. Oh, I saw JT Thomas. He was there, our cornerback. I mean, golly, so much fun.
Wow.
So much fun. Yeah.
I want you brought up going backwards. I want you to go back, if you can. 2021, you were diagnosed with bladder and skin cancer. You didn't tell anyone until you really struggled with it, breathing here on Fox almost a year later.
Right.
Terry, did battling cancer change you as a person?
It brought it brought mortality front and center. I think more now of my life, and I think more of living. I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian, so that my faith is what I leaned on, and I got an awesome wife who's there to, boy, she's the one that got me to the doctor. I mean, she's the one that makes me go and do my checkups, and she's the one that says it's time, and I don't want to do this. And I'm like most people, I don't want to go to the doctor, but she's the one. I said, my neck's killing me. It's got a spasm. She goes in, we do an MRI on the right side, find the tumor under my left jaw. So, and the skin, I mean, the bladder cancer was a friend of hers that said they had a really good doctor at Yale Hospital in New Haven, Connecticut, and she's a friend of Tammy's, and she said, let's go up here and see these people and check on all their doctors who also are professors. And I thought, man, I love that. So we went up to New Haven, fell in love with New Haven and Yale University and the Yale hospital system. And the doctor went in, and it was Tammy, my wife, let me ask her over this. Tammy, did we have a reason for going in? I can't recall. Yeah. It was a checkup. Yeah, just a checkup. And he says, we need to check this out. We need to go in and do a biopsy. Got a little red lining or something. I don't know, blood in your urine, which I didn't have, or I couldn't see it. But so they went in, and it was microscopic. And he said, you've got bladder cancer. And so here's what we're going to do to treat it. And I was like, and you know what? It didn't, cancer, okay, let me finish the story. So I finished with the bladder cancer. I did 6 weeks of treatment up there. I still go back now, I go back every 6 months for preventative treatments.
Right.
Bladder cancer spreads fast. So I just went up for another scope. And then I'm going back in September for 3 straight weeks of treatments. And then as soon as I got out, my neck was killing me. While we were up in New Haven, the doctor, Timmy, set it up through their system. Got to do an MRI. His neck is driving me crazy. And the neck was spazzing on the right side. It was just huge knots over here. And it was hurt so bad. Went in there and they found the mass under my left jaw right here. So they had to biopsy now. I got Merkel cell cancer, a rare skin cancer. 2% of the people in the world get this cancer. So it was first stage, and they took 27 lymph nodes out, and this has been the worst one because it's still sore up there and got a hole here, and but I'm alive and well, and thank God for that. And
You
I'm
feeling good
cancer-
now? You
as,
feeling
as
good?
I'm doing this interview with you, I am cancer free, but I have to continuously go back for, preventative treatments, which
Yeah.
is,
You
it's
look
okay.
great. You feel good. You look great. I mean, you just told me you were working with the Stallions. You look great. You feel good.
Yeah, I have. You know what I've done? I started. I ended up getting rheumatoid arthritis, and so they put me on steroids, and it took forever to find out what steroid worked. And so I put on so much weight, and I got big, and I couldn't get it off. And so Tammy started me on one of those shots, and I've been on this shot about a year now, and I've lost 48 pounds. And now I'm doing periodic. I don't stay on it now. I'm doing periodic because now, I've got it under control. But I've got 20. I want to lose. I'm hoping I'll lose 20 more pounds in another year. So that'll put me down to around 208, which is where I should be.
Good for you.
Yeah, but it's a good feeling, a
Yeah.
really good feeling. As a psychiatrist or psychologist would tell you to tell your kids, aren't you proud of yourself? So, yeah, I am. I am.
Your friend, your teammate, Jimmy Johnson, he retired at the end of
Yes,
last
did.
season. Yeah, and at the Super Bowl, I know that you told a few people that you talked to your wife about retirement. How much longer do
Right.
you think you'll work here on Fox?
Golly, Billy Graham said the minute you retire is the day you start dying. So I'm not going to quit singing. I'm not going to quit giving lectures. I'm not going to stop the horse business. My contract with Fox is for 2 more years, and I know I'm going to work for 2 more. If Fox wants me around for the next Super Bowl, which is 4 years, then I would probably, if I could, I'd probably stay 4 more years, and I'd be 80, and that's enough. That's enough. And 2 more years might be enough, I mean, let me tell you something. I am really enjoying my life. I am having more fun. It's just, I've started traveling to Europe, which is never have interest in. I'm going to Normandy this year, which I've studied World War II for years, and I can't wait to get to Normandy. 5 days at Normandy. We've been to Rome twice, and all over Italy. We've been all over Germany and Sweden, and I have gotten to where I really like that stuff because I love history. And so I didn't think we were going anywhere this year. She surprised me. She wrote a poem. My wife is a brilliant writer. And she wrote this poem, and in the poem was the word Normandy. She tied it all in. And then when I got through with it, I thought, oh, I'm going to Normandy. That was her way of telling me that we're going to Normandy. So, yeah, I'm going to Normandy this year. So I want to do more of that before God calls me home.
I was going to say, is that what's left? I mean, you've done so much, 14 years in the league,
I think
Super
so.
Bowls.
I have great stallions now. We have the best stallions. We have top stallions in our industry. Kenny McPeek got me involved in thoroughbred racing, and so I'm got 3 horses with Kenny McPeek for thoroughbreds. Just the singing and the entertainment on the stage is really where I belong. That's where God put me. That's where that's where I'm my happiest, when I'm up on stage performing, and it's just so doggone much fun, and the fans, The other night I competed against Tom Jones. Tom Jones had the big theater. I had the 1,200 seat theater. He had the 5,000, And I was telling the promoters, I went, "Oh, thanks a lot for bringing me up here to Foxwoods. I'm going up against Tom Jones. Are you kidding me?" And they said, "Well, you've sold 102 tickets. 102 tickets. We've sold. That's all we got coming is 102." But they'd set me up. We had sold out.
Oh, good for
Tom
you.
Jones, man, that's not even fair. That's not right.
Do you ever get Howie and Strahan out there to see your show?
Who?
Howie.
No. Oh, you know what? When I opened up in Vegas, Howie, Jimmy, Troy Aikman, some of the Fox folks, Bill Richards, our producer, Lisa Ashley, our makeup. There's about 15 Fox people came, and I was so nervous. I mean, I came up through the floor like a preacher. "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, da 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 da." The smoke's coming out of the floor, and I'm this preacher. You're asking yourself, sinners and saints, what's Terry Bradshaw doing in Vegas? And that's how the show started. And Howie and Jimmy are out there. They're oh my God.
I love it.
It was so much fun.
Well, we are looking forward to having you here just outside of Chicago at Indiana. I know you're also going to be at the Hard Rock in Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, Terry, I do the 90-Minute Bears pregame show going into Fox NFL Sunday with you and the guys, and it's an honor. It really is, and I appreciate everything you have brought to me as a football fan, starting as a little kid, and now working in this business as well. You're a true gentleman, man.
Oh, man, thank you so much. You're very kind. It's going to be a good show. You keep up your great work. Hey, do you ever run into Dave Wannstedt?
All the time I see Wani.
Yeah, he is. He and I are big buddies, especially during football season, because he gives me all my Bear inside stuff.
He's such a good man. He is such
Good.
And you know what, Terry? He's gotten really good in this business.
He's really good. I'm shocked that Fox didn't keep him. He was so good.
I know.
Don't understand television, obviously, but he is one of my favorite people. Top 5 guy, man.
He is such a good man.
Calls me Tear. Nobody calls me Tear. I'm TB. I'm the Blonde Bomber. I'm Bub, not Tear. But he said, "Tear, what you doing?"
Wani's a good man. He's a good man.
Good man.
Listen, I know you're a busy man. You got the Stallions to work on out there in Texas. Thank you so much for the time, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of June.
No, I thank you. Appreciate it so much. And let's have a good Bear year. What do you say?
I hear you. All right, Terry, stay good, man.
Stay good.
Thank you.